Welcome to the Full Tracy Money Audio Commentary. This is Owen Tracy recording. It's 3:58 p.m. and that is Central Time, and today is October 24th. Well, there's quite a lot to talk about today, but I think some of the most important things are that oil prices were down another $1.75, approaching the region of the lows from 3 weeks ago and the region of the 200-day moving average. I think more than anything, that really helps to emphasize that the recent strength that we've had has been very much associated with the potential for greater geopolitical risk emanating from the Middle East. And with the tone at least being brought down there temporarily for now, we can see that oil prices are coming off. But then what we also had overnight was a surge in Bitcoin prices, where it went up to 35,000 and change by early today, and then paired the advance somewhat. What I thought was particularly interesting was that some of the equities related to Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies also initially surged, but weren't quite able to hold onto all of that advance. So we are definitely going to need to see clear evidence of a sustained breakout by Bitcoin to really ignite additional interest in that sector. But I think even though it was off the peaks today by almost $2,000, it's still up over $2,000 on the day. Then in stock markets, I'm recording about an hour later than usual simply because I was waiting to see what the response to the Microsoft and Google earnings would be. Microsoft surprised on the upside, and then Google surprised on the downside. And where valuations are right now, that really helps to highlight where we have these really quite significant percentage moves in regard to those earnings. There is no room in this market environment for disappointment. So Microsoft was rewarded, Google was not. But then within the wider Fangman grouping, you have Meta, which is being sued by California for the damage that it's done to young people. One might also ask, not before time. Then you also have, of course, Tesla, which remains under pressure, and the potential for a rebound was very much tied to the possibility that it would be able to produce large volumes of Cybertrucks, and we might have to wait for that. There's a lot of speculation right now as well around solid-state batteries. And one thing that I think is particularly interesting is that the date to commercialization always seems to be 3 years away. Back in 2017, there were predictions that we would have solid-state batteries by 2020. Then in 2018, it was going to be 2021 or 22. Now we're in 23, and Toyota is saying they'll have theirs ready for commercialization by 2027. It's not like they haven't been making progress. I think that's absolutely incontrovertible. But the length of time it takes to actually commercialize some of these technologies always tends to be underestimated. So we're still at the 3-year horizon. I think one of the primary reasons why people tend to be a little bit more enthusiastic these days around fusion technology is because the time horizon has come from about 30 years down to about 5. Now, 5 years is still a long time, and there's still plenty of room in which to be to push those dates, but it's an improvement at least. Now, when we think about what's happening in the broader stock market, well, then the continued performance of the Fangman companies is the clearest sign yet that there's narrowing breadth. But the sector has most stocks above the 200-day moving average remains the energy sector. So what happens in terms of oil prices is going to have a material effect on the wider stock market as well. And I think perhaps we should